Hi and welcome to all the racing enthusiasts around the globe joining us for this pre-recorded show, early doors on Saturday morning for the Sunday meeting, which takes place at the Turffontein Inside Racecourse in Gauteng. Joining me on the line, none other than Alistair Cohen. And Alistair, just looking at the Equus Awards, what a wonderful time and congratulations. Everything seemed to go beautifully down to plan.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sheldon. It was wonderful to be in the hot seat for the Equus Awards yet again. It was wonderful to see you and a whole lot of familiar faces. The first Equus to be held in KZN, so I'm told, certainly in my time in racing and everything that I remember before. So I thought the team Race Coast KZN did a wonderful job putting it all together, getting a good cross-section of guests to come and join, obviously the winners being a prerequisite and then filling up from there. But yeah, fantastic evening. Well done to all the winners. That's the biggest thing. To have an Equus champion, I mean, you always start off life saying, "Oof, I think this could be a champion. This could be a champion." But to wake up in the morning and know that you've officially got a champion, I think is a different ball game and kind of settles the nerves. I thought the biggest cheer of the night probably went to Team Gladiatorium, getting the champion Aldermale. That was quite special. And for me, horse of the year 8 and 18, that was a slam dunk the moment he won the Met. So everything they did after that was just building layers. Great evening, and well, let's see what we get up to for the next 12 months.
Well, talking about the card, looking at the amount of short-priced favourites, I think this is going to be quite a short preview. Gavin Lorena, the Verners family and the team, kicking off with race 1, number 8, Slender Silhouette at 7 to 10. 9, Warm Reception from the Candace Dawson stable is 4 to 1. A nibble for number 3, Jetta War, 10's down 7, and then it's 8 to 1 bar. Now, Alistair, before we touch on the favourite, tell us a bit about number 9, Warm Reception, making the debut.
Very nice filly, very encouraging work at home, draw 1. 1200, if she is going to be a good racehorse, it won't be in the sprint, it won't be in the 1200. She's a half-sister to Heather's Boy, who Mike de Kock trained, and went unbeaten, I think, in 4 starts before coming to Cape Town for the Hollywoodbets Cape Guineas. Very, very nice filly. I think she'll run well. I think she'll be in the top 3, but 1200 might just catch her out. There's some well-bred first-timers in here. Lanteri, number 7, by One World, out of Dennis Dreyer's classic, Wilgeborst Drift Classic, winning mare Bambina Stripes with Cheyenne Buto on board, could be quite something. And likewise, number 3, Jetta War, as you mentioned, there is some support for him. Number 5, Neverland, I'd anticipate will come on with a run and be more effective further, certainly being by Ideal World out of a Fort Wood mare. So nice sort of landing spot for him, but keep an eye on him when he goes over further. The Slender Silhouette, hard to beat, Sheldon. Those 2 runs in Cape Town, very encouraging indeed. Ran behind Military Command, who franked his own form by winning the Slipper. He was a little underwhelming during the KZN champion season, was Military Command, but I think if you can get to within 4 lengths on debut, you've got to have something about you. Second start, North Point, won a minor feature subsequently. Form lines all franked. If not in desperate need of the run, I anticipate that she'll be very, very hard to beat, Sheldon. It's not part of the exotics as race number 1. I think the overlying feeling on this card is that I expect to be a winning man, but perhaps not a much wealthier man at the end of this card. I'm looking at some of these favourites and anticipate they'll be pretty hard to beat.
Well, talking about hard to beat, 3 to 10, number 8, Saragossa Cat in the second race. Gavin Lorena for the Janse van Vuren stable. And then it's 7 to 1 bar. You got to be impressed with this individual?
Dolan, up in the buy pot. I've got, a 24 rand bar pot on the card, and I've got 2 horses in this race, because although I love the run from Saragossa Cat, I do not like the form line one bit, being beaten by Japanese Garden, who was a frustrating, long, battling maiden. Although Saragossa Cat's got any amount of improvement to come, good draw, got Gavin Lorena on board, etc., etc. The form line is something that's going to get me out of bed, unfortunately, but with that said, she's got more improvement to come, and I think that she will take a power of beating. I'm just not going to get stuck in at 1 to 3, I'm afraid. If she were to win for the connections, I'll be more than happy, obviously being close to them. But yeah, in the bar pot, I'm looking to actually double up. Number 3, Concordia, I think, although her form lines aren't all that pretty either, her run behind Salt Lake City puts her in front of Amaze Me by about a length and a half. And I thought her last start wasn't all that bad either behind Shanti Dream over 1,400 metres. I think dropping back to 12 is going to have some sort of bearing on a better run for Arnie Bronkhorst yards and good form form. The blinkers come off, which could be key. It looked like she improved with blinkers, but now that she's mature and knows a bit more about it, she could be a little bit more effective. I expect to double up in this race. I'm just not going to throw a 1-3 shot with that form line into the play. She wins. Good luck to them all. I just think that they're better winning chances. They're not massive prices, obviously, but it's slightly more appealing prices than 1-3 later on in the card.
The Red and Black Silks will be teaming up with Gavin Lorena and Jan Janse van Vuren in the third race, Alpha World at 6-10. However, there is a market danger on the betting number 1, World Order, and then number 6, Step Into It. Callan Murray for Mike and Matthew de Kock. How do you see number 3, Alpha World at 6-10, Alistair?
Sheldon, I've been at Turffontein both times he's run. And sitting in part owner's suite, Mr. Werner's, and I've made the comment twice, I will not want to face him over a mile. He's a lovely big boy. He's got a lovely action about him. Just gets run off his feet over 1,200. Will the others just sort of get away from him over 1,200 meters before he makes some progress? He ran to some very smart horses through his career so far. Zalatoris on debut, now a feature race winner from that form line. Princess Kira's a winner, and a few others have come and done some damage. Titans of Wars no longer a maiden. That was well behind Alpha World, and then last time out a good third behind Got the Feeling in top division, although a well-beaten third by those front two who had a neck separating them. Top division I know is held in high regard. Going a trip that's going to suit him down to the ground. Number 3, Alpha World's a banker in my suggested play, which is the bar pot and the place accumulator. I think he'll be a hard horse to beat. I think that he's crying out for this distance. If you are looking for an alternative, it would come in the form of number 6, Step Into It, out of draw 1. Made a debut over 1,200 meters. That form line was flanked on Thursday by Greenlight Racer, who ran a quarter of a length behind Step Into It, and Greenlight Racer was a hard-fought maiden winner during the week. So there's a little bit going for Step Into It, but I think the extra run that Alpha World brings into the picture and the expected improvement, I think will carry him across the line. So I make him one of the big plays on the day.
Stepping into the arena for race number 4. So the first 4 races, the odds-on favourite backers, they'll be looking to have a whale of a time, and hopefully they catch the right wave home. 1,600 metres the trip, where number 1, Matchma Mint. This is your 7-10 favourite. Second on the boards is number 7, which is Special Star at 5-2. They look to dominate proceedings, and just looking at Matchma Mint, runner-up in the recent runs with Kachedi, Craig Zaki, Richard Ferree. Now they got Muzieni aboard.
Yeah, it's fifth different jockey and 5 starts for number 1, Matchma Mint. Look, Sheldon, I'll lead with her. She is my top choice, but again, a little bit like the one earlier on, Saragossa Cat. I'm a little once bitten, twice shy with number 1, Matchma Mint, and I think number 7, Special Star, out of the great mare, Another Russia, therefore half-sister to the brilliant Give Me Another, with blinkers on for the first time on the back of a fair debut behind Merriweather, with likely a natural improvement to come. Again, I expect to double up here, but at 7-10, I'm just sort of tapping my feet around the water, deciding whether I'm prepared to take 7-10. I thought she'd win her last start, and ultimately there's no disgrace in being beaten by Blizzard Quest. Nice horse trained by Sean Terry. He did try some feature races during KZN season, probably not quite at that level yet, but I thought Matchma Mint would be hard to beat on Hollywoodbets Gold Challenge Day. Out of that form line, Blackjack Randall won a very good race for Mike Miller, but there's nothing else from that form that jumps off the page, and that's pretty much a recurring theme through all of Matchma Mint's form lines, that she's done so much but hasn't quite got across the line yet. If Special Star does show big improvement, and I think that could be in the locker, then I think she's going to give her something to think about. The horse who ran third, Hollywood Madam, was a winner at the Vile on Thursday as well, so that form line's been franked. Also, like Pepper Tree has come out and done something. Future Success has placed. The second horse, Witching Hours, come out and placed from that form line as well. So I think that the market might have them a little bit further apart than what the likely results is going to be. 1 and 7 for me, all bets, pick 6, place accumulator and buy pot as well. I'm just, if you ask me who I think is going to win, it would be number 1, Matchma Mint, but I don't think it's going to be one-way traffic. Special Star is going to give her something to think about, I think.
Very interesting. They step Special Star straight into a 16 first time out, which says something, Alistair.
That's not the de Kock way at all. Spot on, Sheldon, and returned blowing on that occasion. So she'll be better and wiser with that run under the belt. There's obviously some sort of stance into thinking that Special Star, if she is going to be any decent, it's not going to be in that middle distance range. The further she goes, the more she races, the better she'll be.
On to race number 5, which is due off at 14:35, all things being equal. The Allied Steel Rod Charity Mile, 1st November graduation plate over 1,600 meters. Number 1, Chestnut Bomber. Once again, Gavin Lorena, Johan Janse van Vieren, 12 runs, 2 wins, 5 placings, and came back to form last time when 4th behind Argo Alley. More like it.
Yeah, refreshing to see him come back to form last time. He wasn't rated to do anything in that Pinnacle Stakes, plus returning from a very long layoff where he was running in Grade 1s and in Wake for Age Grade 1s as well. We had literally no right to be in them. But he stayed on nicely. He probably had to, Sheldon, with 50 kilos on his back because he plummets in class, really. He's got more weight to shoulder, but he doesn't look out of place with that weight to shoulder. Graduation plate, best weighted column, all points into his direction. And the best version of Chestnut Bomber would be a very difficult horse to beat. Just a little bit. I've banked him in the bar pot, to be fair, because I think the only horse who can trouble him is number 5, Pioneer Square. Also coming back from not documented break, but I think it was a 58-day layoff between the maiden win and the last run, just because he kept getting bad draws. Eventually, Candace just threw caution to the wind from another bad draw last time, because this race was always in Candace's mind, mile graduation plate. So I think that Pioneer Square's got a winning chance, and he could push number 1, Chestnut Bomber, all the way down to the wire. Go both horses in the pick 6, but in my bar pot, the suggested bet, I'm banking number 1, Chestnut Bomber, because I simply can't see him missing the top 2, and if he does bring the best version of himself, I think he can win. Number 2, Don's King, I've got a lot of respect for him as well. As a horse, I think that he's above average. He ran some good races behind Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger was bumping the likes of Immediate Edge during that sort of autumn-winter campaign that he won the nice incentive from. Craig Saki takes a ride, so I'm loath to write off number 2, Don's King as well. For those that are going a little bit wider, throw him in.
Next up will be race number 6, and another short-priced favourite at 12-10 is number 1, the Ultimate King. And once again, Gavin Lorena. Well, you know, when they've got so many good horses and short-priced horses, sometimes they can go home with a blank, or they can go home with 4 or 5. That's trading 12-10. Number 4 is 5-2. And then it's 7-1, Argus Sanction and Vesuvio. Are you in the camp of the 1 or the 4?
No, very much number 1, the Ultimate King, Sheldon. I think Lucha Verde is not a bad horse, and I think that his local introduction was a good run, staying on strongly and hitting the line behind Birthright, and I think he'll be more at home over 2,000 metres, a trip that he recently won over in Cape Town. He's won from 1 over the trip, but I know the Ultimate King is forming an assault on the Betway Summer Cup, trying to get him in off a lightweight. He got a mammoth penalty last time when beating Inflame by 2 lengths, and Inflame was doing his best work late. Subsequently, Inflame's won a long distance race over 28.50. He'll bluff anyone, will Inflame. I think the Ultimate King's going in the right direction. He's got some feature-rich credentials about him. I know he's got to give a lot of weight away. Also, bear in mind that when he won last time, 3rd place was beaten 5 lengths in the form of the top-class Banner Bridge. The Ultimate King, for me, very, very hard to turn over. And I'm also led to believe that he just needed his last run slightly. That was documented in the post-race interview. They just thought that they might have been 1 run behind coming off a mini break, and I think that he's heading in the right direction. That conveyor belt is certainly heading towards some nice races later on this year, and if they are going to get there, then he ought to win this.
Then next up will be race number 7, and this is quite an interesting race over the 1,200 metre trip. Number 1, Francilian, Gavin Lorena for Lucky Hoodalakis, 6 runs for the 2 wins and 4 placings. And just looking at the recent forms, loves to run in the quartet spot, so that's a horse who loves to run 4th. And then of course you got Pretty Persuasive, Muzieni from a 2 draw, and you had to be impressed with the improvement from the 1st run to the 2nd run.
That is one of the very eye-catching form lines around the country, Sheldon. Beating Tuscan Romance by 2.5 lengths, coming back from a layoff, back from Cape Town as well. I know that the connections were a little bit worried going into that run as well. Just sort of the fact that she had come on with a run under the belt. Interesting that she'd been rested for 92 days, 52 kilos. There are not many better in the world than Muzieni on your lightweight horse. Now, that form line shows the second horse, Tuscan Romance, came out and won. The 7th horse, Hopscotch, has come out and won. The 9th horse, Skipple, has come out and won as well, and heaps of places in behind. So number 5, Pretty Persuasive, does carry the right credentials, and I want to tip her on top, make her the one that they all need to beat in her handicap debut at 91 level. With the weight for Rage allowance, she comes in with a very light weight, and I think that she's found the right landing spot to be very effective. If she has a danger, and I think this is a danger, number 2, Kamati River, very much in the play. Kelvin Habib takes her out for Tony Peter. Been running in feature race company. She got absolutely crucified by the handicapper for a good run behind Grade 1 winner Mia Moo in the Sycamore Sprint. She got given a £16 penalty. So I'm led to believe that the 96 was probably a bit too high. But the handicapper's done her a favour in her last 2 starts, dropping her rapidly £7 for a bad run behind Shayavana and a fair run behind Just Be Lacquer. Number 2, Kamati River, could be very well placed to give a good account of herself, and I think that she'll give Pretty Persuasive something to think about. They're the only 2 horses that I want to know about in the race. Francillion, I do think, is well above average, but coming back from that type of layoff, I think this is just the restart button getting hit, and going to suss out the direction from here. Just dust off the cobwebs and have a go after this. So 2 and 5, the numbers I'm revolving around, but Pretty Persuasive is my top choice.
All things being equal, and Gavin Larena and the team with the short priced favourites coming through, and the punters ahead moving along to race number 8. It's nice to see Louis and Schlapo for the Tony Peters stable on the even money shot, Rifle Queen number 1. Number 3, Blushing Bloom is 2-1. Number 2, On the Run 5-1. And then there's been a little bit of a nibble for number 6, Edge of Tomorrow, 12-1 down 8-1. So Rifle Queen's the red and white silks versus the red, black and white silks of the rest of them.
Absolutely, and then we've got Stinky Pooey's red, whites and black as well, with number 6, Edge of Tomorrow, who's found a bit of support. Sheldon, I don't really know how comfortable I am with this race. Rifle Queen even money is definitely the direction that I'm leaning towards, with Louis and Schlapo on board. Now, what is interesting, and we obviously, all the Gallop TV members are on a Hollywood group where they send through all the early anti-post movements before we record. This was Rifle Queen, before we recorded, was punted from a big price down to certainly 25-1, and then she blew out again come race time. I've barely seen anything like that. So she got to a starting point of 25-1, but at one stage she was something crazy like 5-1, if I'm not mistaken, perhaps even shorter. She beat Clever Trevor, who trotted up subsequently. Clever Trevor looked the part when winning just a week ago for Mike and Matthew Ducott, beating a horse who I know is who's got some wins to come in the form of Midnight Flyer and Winston's Wonder, who caught the eye. So that remains very interesting from Rifle Queen's perspective. If she's ready to go sort of with one run under the belt against horses that have got the extra mileage on the clock, and she's wise enough to do the job, then yes. If not, then I think it brings number 3, Blushing Bloom, into the picture. I thought it was a very nice sort of progression that she made. She's got draw number 1. So from all those points of view, number 3, Blushing Bloom, is definitely a horse to put into the back of the mind. And then probably number 4, Prince Lola, is best of the rest. Was good low flying last time behind Lonely as a Cloud, who ran second on Thursday. 1, Rifle Queen, the horse that I'm leaning towards. I'm not prepared to bank her in the pick 6 though. Place accumulator, I can't see her missing the top 3.
That'll take us on to the 9th and final race, and I suppose Craig Zaki and Sean Terry, they'll be looking to get a break here with number 2, Rodeo Drive at 22-10, and then we go on to Gavin Larena, number 4, Bjorn Ironside at 5-2. Note there will be deductions with the scratching of number 3, Sylvan Warrior, 20% at the time of recording. Number 8, Nyaka, 33-10, and then 11-2 about numbers 5 and 9. Alistair, I'm going to hand the baton straight over to you. Take it away.
Sheldon, Nyaka has got to be the biggest runner you've ever seen. Having run 2 lengths behind Jan van Gooyen, champion 2-year-old colt of the country, 55 kilograms on the back, with Radio Star, subsequent winner, in behind, and Shadowfax finishing behind Nyaka, who ran a brilliant race on Gold Cup Day. First runner that's relocated from the late Baron Boerses. I know that Baron liked this horse, Nyaka Nyaka. Calvin Abib takes a ride. It's a hard place to start, being this graduation plate against some very smart horses that have run at the highest level, the likes of Rodeo Drive, who was touched off by Quid Pro Quo at Hollywoodbets Scottsville. But Nyaka Nyaka, for me, Sheldon, I'm going to make him the horse that they all need to beat, and probably a hard horse to beat. I do have respect for number 2, Rodeo Drive. The 2-year-old Rodeo Drive would win this race. The 3-year-old was just a little bit stop-start, I'm afraid, but still good runs and defeat the likes of Future Variety, Truth, Almond Sea, Chocolate Soldier, all horses that pop up in her form lines, and those runs are still going to be good enough to warrant her a lot of respect. Not going to be easy from that draw. It's made slightly easier with draw 8 from 8 rather than 9 from 9. It might even come in a few more places come race time, with potentially a few more to come out. But Nyaka Nyaka, with that run to Jan van Gooyen, he's the horse that's going to fly my flag in the last.
Well, let's move on to your suggested bet, and all things being equal, a lot of the punters will hopefully be in the pound seat and they'll be following your selections. So please, Alistair, take it away, and your suggested bet is coming on screen now.
Tell you what, it's a perfect day for the Hollywoodbets Punters Challenge, to be fair. I think quite a few will fancy their chances of catching this. Right, 3 and 8 in the first leg. Concordia and Saragossa Cat, the first leg of the bar pot off at 12.50, with the first getting underway at 12:15. Second leg of the bar pot, Banker number 3, Alpha World. By 1 and 7, Matcha Mince and Special Star. Banker 1, Chestnut Bomber. By 1, 3 and 4, the Ultimate King Vesuvio and Lucha Verde. And then the final leg, 2 and 5, Komati River and Pretty Persuasive. 24 and perm, few opportunities to double up. Let's hope it goes according to plan.
Well, thank you very much, Alistair. As you mentioned, a number of short price favourites on the day. So at the end of the day, it's the punters. They got to decide whether they're going to take those short prices. And if they all do arrive, they'll be coming home with suitcases. But we know this game, there's no such thing as a certainty.
Yeah, absolutely, Sheldon. But it's a good time to be making money in the middle of the month, so payday's on the way. This will just pull you across the line, hopefully.
Super. Thanks very much to Alistair Cohen joining us on the line for the Turffontein Inside Race meeting. And that's a wrap for the meeting. Hopefully all goes according to plan on your Gallop TV show, and hopefully the horses run for you on the course.